The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen only.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started here. I know your time is valuable, and we appreciate everything that you're doing today to take time out of your busy schedule to sit in on this presentation. Again, my name is Lindsay Kittner. I'm the Vice President of Product Management here at Tataran, and I wanted to come to you today not so much to show you how to program or do things with it, but I want to come to you to help you identify Aeonix for cloud and features and functions that we have in it that will be of great value to your customers and your prospects. So basically what we're going to do today is kind of go over Aeonix for cloud. And unlike the on-premise Aeonix, Aeonix for cloud comes with all applications that are turned on in the system. You're paying per month for the functionality. So in most UCaaS customers or competitors out there, they're selling basic telephony functions. Well, what we want to do today is we want to teach you how to delve into your prospects' business processes and show you how Aeonix for Cloud can solve a lot of those issues that your prospects face. We're going to come up and give you some probing questions that you can ask your Aeonix for Cloud prospect that's going to basically separate you from the competition, because we all know that there's basically two types of selling. There's selling on price, which is one way. However, that's really not going to put a lot of money in your pocket, make your customers loyal to you and whatnot. And another way is to sell that solves customers' problems and issues, and being more of a consulting type of salesperson and bringing your company forth so that you can be a problem solver and bring value to them. So we're going to look at some basic steps and questions you can ask your prospect to see how you can separate yourself and win the Aeonix for Cloud deals. So how do you differentiate yourself from the competition? Well, what you want to do is you want to know what your prospects are facing, what issues do they have, and maybe some of them don't know how to fix, like losing prospects to the competition, calling for a service and not getting to the phone quick enough and the customer hanging up and calling the next one on the list, or allowing your customers to choose how they want to interact to their customers. In other words, bring more information to them and let the customer feel empowered and how to control and get their information. Well, let's face it, technology for the younger customers and companies out there, they're used to not having to do strictly just voice calls to their competitors all the time. They want to come up and they want to be able to come up and do emails or text or chat or whatever. How do you come up and handle frustrated customers? The longer that customers are on hold, the more frustrated they will become because their time is valuable to them. And so you want to be able to come up and reduce that and keep the frustration level for your customers down as long as possible. And then how do you come up and make sure that your employees and their valuable time is best handled? Maybe you have a customer or a prospect that has a service business and that you want to confirm appointments and things of that nature. And then last but not least, some customers have budgets for advertising dollars and 800 services and print services and how to be able to quantify those expenses. So the way that you can differentiate yourself from the competition is to identify these issues that companies may have and basically get out of the Me Too technology selling business. Sell something that your customer needs, identify their pain points, and address them accordingly. So how do you identify the customer pain points and get the strengths and weaknesses of their company? Well, basically you need to understand their revenue cycle. How much does it cost for them to acquire a prospect? With a hardware store or with a fast food restaurant, it's pretty easy to acquire prospects, but they come and go. But maybe this is a medical facility, or maybe this is a law office, or maybe it's a technology place such as yourselves. How much does it cost to acquire these prospects? And then what's the conversion rate? Because you're always going to have customers that you gain, but how do you come up and retain them? And for how long is that retention? The longer you have the customer, the more revenue potential you have with that customer. Okay. And what works best for them? What is their strengths? Is it phones? Is it emails? Is it order processing? How do they track their initiatives? Maybe they come up with marketing aspects and things of that nature. Well, how do you quantify those? Okay. And then what's their process for fulfilling a sale or an order? Sit down and go with a customer. I've gone out with many appointments with many dealers and prospects, and a lot of this information, they really didn't even know how certain aspects within their organization worked. How many points did an order handle, and how do they do repeat communications for the same order, acknowledgments, things of that nature. So how do they handle complaints? These are all things that can be addressed within the Aeonix for Cloud and the technology that we bring to the table. By you coming up and identifying each of these for your prospect, you're showing them that you care about their business, that you care about their future, that you want to see them grow and be successful. So, so what do? You basically, you need to understand the customer's view of their business. Okay, how do they see it? Well, the best way to do is to do some research before you go to your prospect. Look at their website, see what they are doing. Look at, act as a customer. Call their support center, call their main number, see how many times it rings busy, see if the people are attentive when they're answering the phones. If you get a ring, no answer. So put yourself as a customer towards your prospect and see exactly what they're doing and how they actually handle their customers, or identify the problems that they have their customers trying to get into them. Go through and interview employees. Ask what's holding them back from doing their job. Just give them a sheet of paper and say, guys, tell me the 3 things that your current situation is working for you, but give me 5 or 8 points that you're having problems with that you can do to do your average day. What tools do they use to communicate with their customers? Do they just do phones? Do they have 800 service? Do they do call out campaigns? Interview the management and owners to understand their goals and needs and objectives for the teams. How do they contact? What do they use? Do they use phone? Do they use chat? Do they use email? What's their after hours experience? What do they do for after hours communications? When they leave a message, is it documented? I was at a school district out west one time, and they were having problems with facility managers for after hour service. And basically, we just implemented within the Aeonix, we just implemented in a voicemail box with message escalation. And then with our mobile clients that we have with touch, we're able to come up and be able to send those calls immediately to the people that have the facilities afterwards. The managers loved it because no longer were their calls being identified with a particular mobile number that was out there. It was an employee of the school district, and a school district, didn't have to give out the cell phones anymore. Okay. How do they ensure that every call and every email is answered? Okay. And then identify and list the items that will increase productivity and empower employees. Nothing will help you sell your system more and your services by identifying the pain points that companies have, and then addressing each one of those and telling them exactly how your solution, Aeonix for Cloud, is going to empower them and handle that situation. Now, Aeonix for Cloud also includes our Aeonix Contact Center. Some of you may be sitting out there going, wait a minute. This isn't a contact center, okay? But you have to understand it's really not about formal versus non-formal contact centers. It's about functionality, okay? With our Aeonix for Cloud, you buy the services as you need them. If you need contact center functionality, you simply pay the additional monthly price of an Aeonix Contact Center agent. So it's the delta of the monthly cost that you're adding to the customer's invoice. However, you give them the full Aeonix Contact Center solution. They don't have to implement it for every single person. They also can implement bits and pieces of it. So, you can do it in a non-formal environment. So maybe you have just an operations desk and a logistics department, or you have an IT department within a company, or you want to come up and you want to put attendance into a contact center because you got complaints of people getting ring no answers and the attendant not answering calls. So you have the ability to program contact center functionality even in non-formal contact centers. Okay. This is going to set you apart from your competition because you are selling a solution to a customer to solve an issue. You're not just selling them, hey, this is a contact center agent and you get all of this stuff. No, you're selling a solution and a technology to help them. And let's face it, over this last year, these are challenging times. The workforce has changed. It's decentralized. It's probably going to be that way moving forward. Business owners and managers are struggling with how to communicate with the people, lack of employee visibility. How do they maintain quality control over their customers? Is it, how do you implement new technologies? The Aeonix for Cloud platform allows you to address each one of these needs based on technology that's in the cloud that's available to you on a day-to-day basis. Hey, we got this application or we got this need that we need to do. Well, here, buy this Aeonix Contact Center agent or upgrade an existing touch standard user to Aeonix Touch Contact Center agent. Try it for 60 days. See if you like it. If not, guess what? We can back it back down again. You have the power to do this and be very flexible in delivering this quality to your customers. So, what are some of the pain points that you want to look for out there? Okay. Well, are they losing customers to their competition? Some of the things that could be out there that you need to probe your prospects on is, do they have long hold times? Are their customers frustrated, for these long hold times? Are they hanging up? Well, the Aeonix Contact Center and Aeonix for Cloud can address a lot of those complaints because you'll prioritize the call. You can come up and you can do callbacks on abandoned calls. You can even come up and allow customers to maintain their place in queue and request a callback. Now that caller can hang up and the agent will automatically call them back when their place comes in line in the queue. We also have the ability to come up and to put all of those into a managed measurable effort. You can come up and pull a report, either on demand or automatically, okay? Another example of is missing technology for the younger generation. Let's face it, the Gen X millennials have the ability to, they want to be able to come up and do non-voice communication. So they can come up and they can send an email in the system, but like all other things, email is not a way to where you can come up and have confirmation that an email has been received. Okay, so it's like the post office. You hope that it gets there. Also web chat is a way that they work with. Well, with the ACC, you can come up and you can queue up the emails via our ACC. That'll come up and that'll give confirmation to the user that their email was received. You will then have reports that you can generate to see how many incoming emails that came in. They can be put out to people to make sure that they're answered. And with the web chat, we have a little applet that can be added to a company's website that will allow chat messages for customers that visit their website and talk to their employees. Again, all built within Aeonix for Cloud. Another way that you can come up and show value is to increase productivity and empower employees. So, with the Aeonix for Cloud and the ACC, you can automate outbound calling. So say, for example, you want to confirm appointments for the next business day. You can come up and upload a file to Aeonix for Cloud and the ACC and do an automated campaign to the customers and call them, confirm that it's them, confirm the appointment. If they have problems with the appointment, they can automatically be routed to an agent. Okay. Callbacks for missed calls. So you can do automatic campaigns again. You can upload files where customers' contracts are ending and become a proactive way of contacting the callers back, or offer promotions and sales. So again, the Aeonix, it's built in. The Aeonix for Cloud has this functionality built in. It's just a matter of licensing at least one or two agents to start using this technology, and you can offer it to your customers. Likewise, screen pops. With the Aeonix for Cloud, you can come up and you can have inbound screen pops to various CRM packages out there. based on the incoming call to speed up and empower employees to be more productive. Another way that you can do it is to increase your customers' revenue and decrease expenses. You know, you're with the Aeonix for Cloud and ACC, you can actually customize and prioritize your highest revenue clients. You can actually do a lookup in the database and say that I see this is ABC company calling in and their priority, you know, is high. So they spend a lot of revenue with me, then I'm going to route them in before XYZ because XYZ doesn't buy anything from us. So you can actually prioritize calls inbound so your highest revenue customers or their highest revenue customers can now be answered. Okay. You can also do a check, you know, so your prospect can say, hey, I see that this customer owes me money before I send them to orders, then I'm going to send them to collections and try and collect my money. And then likewise, if you have toll charges and telecom charges, you can come up and you can see which ones are actually productive, have calls coming in, and likewise adjust expenses accordingly. So, you know, you can increase your customers' revenue while decreasing their expenses. So in summary, basically, the UCaaS market is very, very crowded in the US. If you do a Google search out there, you'll find that there are thousands and thousands of companies that are offering cloud services. But what you want to do, you know, many customers have options and they'll select the Me Too technology. But what you want to do is you want to come up and bring value to your prospects. You want to come up and be able to differentiate yourself and set yourself apart from the competition. Aeonix for Cloud does just that. The Aeonix for Cloud with our contact center built in allows you to gain more sales, to increase your revenue and retain your customers. And to me, you know, having this technology there and having to only pay the delta for one or two agents to get this functionality is a key differentiator for you with your customers. Okay. So with that, I'm going to open it up for all, and we'll come up and we'll see if there are any questions out there. Any questions out there at all?
Hey, Lindsay, it's Tim. I wanted to make a comment first. Great content. You made some really good points. And as you and I have talked before, I think the idea of probing to understand a customer's business, how they do business, how they engage their customers, how they enable employees to make them effective and productive are really key questions. And I think, as you pointed out, delivering these solutions on an as-needed basis, especially for companies who may not historically have implemented contact center solutions to solve some of those problems you talked about, giving them the ability to do it kind of one bite at a time, one agent at a time, 1 month at a time is awesome, because ordinarily in the premise world, you would have to purchase the software and hardware and implement it, and it's expensive and prohibitive, and not the kind of financial risk you would take to drive an experiment. But doing it with Aeonix for Cloud via the cloud really lowers the hurdle and makes it possible to do that. The other point that I would make is, in probing questions, you pointed out, it's really important to kind of dig in and understand how the company interfaces with their customers. And one of the ways I've learned over the years, one of the questions that I've always asked to try and open up the conversation about where the opportunities are in the business to help improve business or business process or employee engagement or customer satisfaction, is to ask a department leader or the head of a company or a decision maker or influencer in a company, is just say, if there was one thing you need to accomplish this year to improve the way you engage with your customers, what would it be? Or similarly, if there was one objective you want to accomplish this year to help your employees be more engaged and more effective, what would it be? Those kinds of open-ended questions open up the conversation, and it doesn't guide it into one area or another. It simply says, if you have an important priority you want to accomplish this year, and you think about it every day, and it's what you worry about when you're in bed at night, what is that? And then through probing, learn where, because it's those things, those problems, those challenges that are keeping the decision makers and influencers up at night. It's what they're willing to invest time thinking about. And if we can really probe to understand what that is, to the extent that they impact how they engage with their customers or how they enable their employees, there's a good chance we can take these capabilities you talked about, implement them in a low risk, financially simple and attractive way to help them close the gaps in those problems, improve employee engagement, employee effectiveness, improve the way they engage with their customer, overall customer sat and loyalty.
Yep, I agree. And there's one more thing too, is that Tataran stands behind you to support you. So if you have questions, we have this application or this issue we're trying to solve. We are here to support you with that. We can come up and consult with you, tell you how to do it, even to the point if you need help technically to implement that, our professional services group stand ready and willing to help you with those issues as well, or those items as well. So, all right, has anyone else got any questions or comments on this? Ron, I see you got a hand up there. Let's see. Ron, you got a question?
You bet. Did I hear you right when you said if you've got somebody signed up as a contact center agent, you can always go backward with them without penalty?
Yeah, because you can come up and let's say that you have you've identified a customer, or you have an existing customer, and you got, let's say you got 20 standard users, and you go, you know what,
Okay.
we want to implement ACC here. Well, implement a touch user and change, go to the portal and add a CC agent. You know, go from 20, go to 19 and 1 or 19 and 2 plus the supervisor if you need it, and then go ahead and try it. Now you'll turn on the ACC. You'll go ahead and implement your groups, put in your greetings, your messages, any dial plans if you want, etc. They try it. Okay, 60 days later, you know what? This isn't really working out for us. Okay, so now let's go from 19 and 2 or 18 and 2 and go back to 20 standard users. Done. That's it. You can do it on a month-to-month basis. You know.
I feel like that's a feature that if we implement, people are unlikely to go backwards if we can talk them into it, but the ability to go backwards will probably get them talked into it.
Yeah, because once you try that, once you implement that and go in there, and they see the technology, they see the power, they see how it's embracing, you know, helping their customers, empowering their employees. I mean, this will open up doors for you. And once you get 2, 3, or 4 customers using the ACC, Well, now you got references. Hey, call this company down the road here. I implemented this for him. Look at how this is working, and use the
Right.
snowball effect on it. But yeah, you have that flexibility. That's what Aeonix for Cloud is for.
Okay. I wasn't aware we could go backwards on something like that, so that's a good selling point.
Sure.
Thank
Kick the
you, Lindsay.
tires. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy, you had a question out there?
Another question. Just wanted first to say thank you. Very, very educating. I just wanted to add that keep in mind that ACC agents are wrapped or includes recording channels. So it's a capability that you can add again from the customer perspective, the end user perspective. He can now listen to recording, listen to interactions, and maybe improve the way his employees interact with the customers. So just keep that in mind. It's part of the ACC agents, the recording.
Yep. Okay. Let's see here. Is there any other questions out there? Okay. If there's none, I appreciate everyone coming here and taking part in this. I've recorded this conversation, or I've recorded this webinar, and we'll post it for everyone's viewing later on.